Hey there, today I'm doing a test of the wireless Sennheisers that I have here, the lav mic system that I've got, which is just a microphone and a receiver that in this case is being plugged directly into the Canon 60D, going right in instead of going in via the Zoom H4n like you see in my previous video. I wanted to see how the sound was and what kind of quality I could get by just taking this system and going into the Canon. Now, check out the links in the description of this video for all the gear that I used in this video, and I will list it there and give you links. Also, the thing is with these being plugged in directly to the camera, you can't monitor the audio coming out of the mics and going into the camera. All I have to look at is the manual audio meters, which are really helpful. Earlier versions of this camera, like the Canon T2i, which I have in the background back there, didn't have manual audio control. So what I've done is I've turned on the Sennheiser. It's set at 0 dB, which is, you have to be careful because you can easily peak the microphone. You could overload the microphone and get distortion with the mic being in this proximity to my mouth, not too far away from my mouth. So you have to be careful with that being on 0 dB. But the key is I want to turn these microphones up and turn down the levels in the camera. So with the manual audio control, I literally have it, I just take the manual audio control, I slam it all the way down to off, and then in this case, I went 4 clicks up from off. And that knocks down or cuts down the amount of work that the 60D has to do, the preamps in the 60D, which can be noisy and introduce that hiss and hum. So one of the keys to getting that out of there is turning down the manual audio as far as you can get it, with still getting respectable levels, just into the yellow around -12 to -6. All right, and just as a reference point, I want to scoot back here and get further away from the camera in the corner of the room as far as I can get from the current position of the camera is at least 6 feet away from the camera. And obviously I've got the mic attached to my person, so the audio is exactly the same no matter where I move. I can even move my head a little bit and my body a little bit and the microphone stays with me. And that's the real value of having the microphone attached to me as opposed to using the microphone on the camera, which I'll show you, or you just heard, is a big difference between being close to the camera and far away from the camera. And one of the reasons why you want to use a system like this to get the microphone on your talent, so to speak. Okay, so in this shot, I've disabled the wireless mic, so this one is no longer working, and I'm using the audio straight into the camera on the camera's microphone, which is generally doesn't sound good because it's going to pick up a lot more of the room tone. The room I'm in, you're going to hear the echo and my voice bouncing off the walls much more than when I'm using the microphone, as you could hear when the microphone's attached to me. Now I'm about a foot away from the camera, so the audio's going to sound its best that it's probably going to sound in terms of using the on-board microphone, but it's still, you probably still notice a dramatic difference. And we did the test with the lav standing back there. So I'm going to get up here. I'm going to actually change focus right in the middle. All right, so here I am back, and it's hard to tell. I'm back, back where I stood before, about 6 feet away from the camera, and you're probably going to notice I'm even trying to speak up so I can reach the microphone because I know it's just going to sound so much different. But I'm talking about the same level. You can definitely hear the room tone is probably like just much different, and it's echoey, and the microphone just, it doesn't sound as good. Again, this is the onboard mic on the Canon 60D. I'm not using a microphone system. I'm just using what comes on the camera, something you generally don't want to use. And so I've also had to really crank up the preamp on the camera, so there's a lot more noise because the camera's doing a lot more work to pick up the noise floor, to hear the audio. So, two bad things. The camera on the mic on the camera is just not good, and the preamp is working even harder. It's up louder. The gain on the manual microphone setting is a lot louder. So these are the two systems, and this is just using the onboard camera to give you a comparison to what kind of quality you can get out of using a microphone that's actually attached to you and plugged right into the camera. So that's what I'm doing with these, and this is just a test of the audio. So what you're hearing is the audio going into this microphone directly plugged into the Canon 60D, and I'm not monitoring it with headphones. I just looked at the manual meters before I pressed record, and this is what we got. All right, see you next time.